What's up, my fellow gamers? This is AviticusDragon, and what I'm going to do today is actually show you my method on how I create my videos. iPlayer wanted to know, he's having some trouble creating some videos, and I thought it would be good to, instead of explaining it to him through a message, to just show you my method. So this could be different depending on your software and what your hardware is, but I'll show you my method on how I actually record, and well, I might not actually show you the recording part because I'm recording right now, but I'll show you the software that I use, and we'll actually go and edit a video, and I'll show you how I do that. So right now you can see I'm recording with my webcam, and I don't know if you could see the top right, but there's I'm recording with Fraps right now. So Fraps is how I record video, and the latest version of Fraps has a option that says Monitor Aero Desktop, which allows you to record your screen. So you don't need a program like Camtasia to screen capture. Now, if you change your background to like a different Windows theme that's not an Aero theme, you won't be able to see this option in Fraps. So for those of you that are wondering, if you run across that problem. So I've purchased Fraps and it's registered to me, but this is what I do to record. And so I save all of my videos on my external USB 3.0 drive, and then I've configured my settings on how I'm recording. So usually I just leave mine at full size 30 FPS, and then for this video I'm actually recording the external input, which is I have a microphone C1U. It's you can't see it, but it's down here. But it gives me better quality sound than using my headset. And I realized about 100 videos in that I needed to buy something that had better quality. If you look at my old XCOM videos, you can tell the difference between my new XCOM series and my old one, because I was using the headset at the time when I was recording. So when I normally record my XCOM videos, I uncheck this box, so I'm not using, all it's recording is just the sound of the game. And then I use Audacity to record the sound. All right, and I'll show you that here in a minute. But of course you want to hide your mouse cursor in the video, and you just want to leave the rest of that blank, or the default settings. And you want to uncheck this box that says split movie every 4 gigabytes, because you're going to have a ton of files. So 4 gigabytes is nothing. One of my XCOM videos for 30 or 40 minutes is like 80 gigabytes, or 100. It's crazy. So yeah, just select the drive that you want, and then the key that you want to use. So for me, it's insert. So when I press insert, I start capturing. All right, so now that I'm capturing, what I'll do is I don't actually start capturing yet. I'll open up my webcam, I'll open up Fraps and have it ready to go. Then I'll open up Audacity, and it's already set to my microphone and everything. So what I'll do is I'll start recording. I'll hit the record button, and you can see that there's waves, so it's detecting my voice. You can also see it, the meter up here. Negative 12 dB is basically level in a sense. So I'm at like pretty much the perfect level, but you can increase your voice if you need to. So what I'll do is I'll start recording, and then I will start, I'll click on the webcam to start it. And then, so right when that happens, the hard part is knowing when to edit your video to start it, to match up the audio and the webcam. So what I'll do is I'll start the Audacity, I'll start recording, and then I'll start the webcam. Once that's recording, I look at the camera and then I go and start. Hi. No, that's not what I do, but I go and start. Hey, what's up, my fellow gamers? Welcome to another episode of XCOM. Okay, so you can see that I did that part and start. So my webcam and the recording in Audacity will both have that. So now what I'll do is I'll go into my editing program and match those up together. So I'm looking for both audio feeds, and I'll show you that here. So let me cancel that. All right, so let's go ahead and open up. I use Adobe Premiere Pro CS6. Been a fan of Adobe Premiere. And it's easy to work with all the Adobe products. So what I'm going to do here is open up a video. Let's see. This is my drive here. You can see I've got XCOM. And I've recorded up to part 49 right now. You know, guys, I'm always ahead of when I release videos. So sometimes when you make comments, I may have learned those things already from playing further, but still post them because there's a lot of things that I do miss. But yeah, let's see. So I think we're at part 45. All right, yeah, so part 44 was the last one. So I'm going to open up the previous project that I had for XCOM. And I'm just going to wait for it to load up here. All right, so here's my video. So what I'm going to do is I actually just do a save as, and then I save it to the next part. And I'll just change the name of the project file. So every video I make has its own project. So now I'm just going to delete the audio, the recording, and the webcam from the video here. All right, so I have my intro already in the at the beginning, and I already have pretty much my exit exit piece, and you can see I've already got that preloaded. So what I'm going to do here is actually load XCOM, the part 45. Yeah, 45. Okay, so you can see I already have my audio, my video, and the game. But before that, let me just show you one other thing here. In Audacity, when you're recording, it defaults to a location in the C drive, the temporary files directory. You want to make sure to change that to your external hard drive. That way it will put all its temporary files there. I have a solid state drive, and I'm always low on hard drive space, so I have to be careful, you know, what is going to my C drive. So you'll just want to go in here to directories and change that to your, just make a folder up and put it there, and then save the changes. And then you'll always want to make sure that you turn on your hard drive before you load Audacity. Otherwise, it's going to revert back to the C drive as its default. All right, so if you do load Audacity without your hard drive being on, make sure you go back in here and change that setting back to the correct folder. All right, so when you're done recording, all right, say I've recorded this piece, you're going to stop the video, all right? And then you're just going to go to File and Export. And you're just going to leave it at WAV 16-bit PCM. And I just put mine as audio. And I just changed the location to where I'm saving it. So I have every part that I've done for XCOM listed. So if I'm saving part 49, I'll go to part 49 and save it as audio. And just as a test, I'll show you what it does. So I'll just save it here, audio, and then just you could put in the artist name and all that shit if you want, but just click OK. And it's probably not going to do anything because it's so small of a file, but if you go to the drive, you'll see there's an audio file here, and that's your audio. So if you're only going to use Audacity if you're not using your headset, all right? If you use your headset, you're going to use Fraps, and you're going to go back to the Fraps setting, and you're going to have this checked like I have it now, and your audio is going to be overlapped with the game audio. So you have to be careful. You have to make sure that your volume, your not only your playback volume, but you want to make sure that your sound recording volume. All right, there's two tabs, playback and recording. You want to make sure that your recording volume, if you go right click on your device, go to properties, then go to levels, you want to make sure that it's set to a decent level. Now I have my mic set to 100 because the C1U is very quiet. It's a quiet amateur shit, I can't even, it's a microphone, but it's an amateur level, so I can't blast, with a headset you have to be careful that you don't go too loud, otherwise it's going to be distorted. But with my device, because it's more of a amateurish slash pro device, it doesn't peak at all. So I can scream into it, and it's going to keep my voice at some decent decibels. That way, you guys can understand what I'm saying, even though I'm screaming. So that's what you'll want to do there. But it takes a lot of trial and error. But once you get it, you'll know what the settings are. So now, if you do purchase a microphone, an amateur level or pro microphone, then you're going to do the method that I'm doing right now with Audacity, and have Audacity record the volume. That way you have two separate tracks. You have your game track, but you also have your audio track. And so you can turn up the game track and turn up or turn down the audio if you want, depending on how loud it is. And for XCOM, I usually turn my volume down on the game, and then I turn my volume up for myself, up about 7 decibels. So I'll show you that here. So right now it's importing the files, and Adobe Premiere, it does take a little bit to import, and then it has to I'm not exactly sure, but it compresses them basically, or converts them or something like that into into another file, so that you can easily load the project when you save it. And so you'll want to do the same thing in Adobe Premiere. You'll want to make sure that you're saving your renders, or the files that are rendered, or the effects, to your external hard drive. And I'll show you where that setting is here in a moment. I noticed that the webcam video, for some reason, takes a while to import. Come on now. I'm waiting on you. But yeah, Adobe Premiere is pretty solid for an editor. It's there's other ones out there. If you're a Mac user, you could use Final Cut Pro. That's really good. It's probably better than Adobe Premiere, I would say. I would use Final Cut if they actually had it on Windows. So you can see down at the bottom, it's generating a peak file, and it's saving this in, let's see. Nope, that's not it. I think it's under Project project settings, general, scratch disks. Yeah. So you want to set your scratch disks to your external hard drive. So you can see here, it's saving to my actual folder that I made for the part. And this makes it easy so that I can easily go back and load a a previous project if I want to. I normally delete the actual recording after a while because it takes up too much hard drive space. So you have to once I render a video and create it and export it, and I upload it to YouTube and everything, and I know it looks good, I'll delete the full project or the full recording because it's like 80 gigs or 100 gigs, and I need more space to record more. So so right now it's generating a peak file, and it does take a while depending on how long your videos are. But what I'll do is while it's doing that, I'm going to drag the file onto the timeline. So I'll put the actual gameplay video footage on the video 1 track, and I've got to move my some of my effects here, or ending sequence. Got to move that back a little bit. And let's see, how long was this video? It's close to 40 minutes. I'll keep it in one. So at this point I would decide whether or not, I'm going to need to split it into 2 videos. If it's close to 40 minutes, I'll keep it. But if it's over 40, I'll pretty much, over 45, it's a new video. All right, so I've dragged the video footage. I'll drag the actual webcam, and now you don't want to overlap your video, so you're just going to go up to video 2 and place it there. And so up here is the video, and then below it is the audio. All right. And then thirdly, I'm going to take my audio. Now this is the audio that I recorded in Audacity, and I'm going to put this down here at the bottom. Okay. And I'm just going to wait for this peak file to finish because right now it's basically taking all the audio and everything and putting it into a specific file. I think we can see that here under, cache files. So it's kind of like a cache. It loads. It's able to load anything you render, any audio and stuff like that, really quickly because it stores it here. So sometimes you'll manually have to go in here and delete this cache folder because it gets really large, actually. Okay, it's almost done here. And yeah, shit, it's got to do the webcam. That shouldn't take too long, I don't think. And this Adobe Premiere is pretty easy to learn. There's a lot of, it's got a lot of things you can do with it. And if you combine Premiere with After Effects, you can do some pretty amazing things. And you can easily make stuff in After Effects and then import it into your project in Premiere, and they work really well together. You can use Adobe Bridge if you want. I never really got into that. It's just, but it's an easy way to get your files into the project, I believe. All right, so now that that's done, what I'll do is I'll come down and kind of get up close into the video here, put my audio tracks together, and let's just take a listen to this. Testing, here we go. Okay, that was testing, here we go. Okay, so that right there, that testing part was the audio track down here with Audacity. So that was me actually recording in the microphone. And start. What's up, my fellow? Alright, so you can see that's me starting. Now up here, if I move this down a little bit and just listen to the webcam part. Let me turn the volume up here. So in this case, I screwed up my webcam audio, and so now I don't know what the hell I'm saying. So now I have to try to match the audio up with my mouth. But basically, what I would do is try to match up the audio, the good audio down here, with the webcam audio. And once it overlaps, I would unlink the webcam, and I delete the webcam audio altogether, and I replace it with the audio from my track. All right, so let's say for instance I synced up the audio and it was right here to this point, so it's perfect. So then I would delete this track from existence. Then I would move the audio right in front of the video. When I start recording, I say and start, and then I hit the recording button right at that moment. So that's how I know where to put my audio track. I know I can put my audio track right at the beginning, right after I say and start, because I know I'm going to start out with, hey, what's up, my fellow gamers? It's AviticusDragon, or whatever my intro is at that moment. So I never have to really, a couple videos may be out of sync, but for the most part, I never have to go through and look at the audio matching up with the video. It's almost always accurate. But in this case, I have to match it up with my lips. So this is what I would do. I would kind of come in here, listen to the track, and start. All right, so I know that's after the start. All right, so I look down, and that's and start right there. What's up, my fellow? All right, so I'm a little bit behind. See that? What's up, my fellow gamers? Welcome back to more XCOM Enemy Unknown. So you can see I'm close, but I'm not right there. So I can zoom in a little bit and just kind of move my track up a little bit. What's up, my fellow gamers? Welcome back to more XCOM Enemy Unknown. That's actually pretty good. It might even be on. Let me go up just a little bit more just to see. What's up, my fellow gamers? Welcome back. Nope, that's too much. What's up, my fellow gamers? Welcome back to more XCOM Enemy Unknown. Alright, so right there is perfect. It's matched up. So what I'm going to do is move this the webcam, because I don't care about any of this part. This is me just, saying blah, 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 here we go, ready to rock, and whatever. So I'm going to move that part out and match it up. So now it's going to start out. What's up, my fellow gamers? Welcome back to more XCOM Enemy Unknown. Okay, perfect. So now what I'm going to do is move, I'm actually going to unlink this and delete the audio from the webcam, even though there is none. And then I'm going to move my audio to the beginning. Alright, so now we've got my audio matched up, and this is what it looks like. What's up, my fellow gamers? Welcome back to more XCOM Enemy Unknown. And it's a little laggy because it's not really rendered, so sometimes it can lag up. So that obviously doesn't look great, so I'm going to throw in an effect here, which I have my webcam presets ready to go. And You can see I threw that up there. So now it looks a little bit better. What's up, my fellow gamers? Welcome back to more XCOM Enemy Unknown. And sometimes I have to configure that a little bit just to make the view a little bit better. Now the audio is a little bit low, so what I can do is right click on the audio track, go to audio gain, and I usually throw it about 7 dB higher. And this is going to increase the volume just a little bit. And now we can see. What's up, my fellow gamers? Welcome back to more XCOM Enemy Unknown. So you can see over here on the right hand side, I'm right around -6 dB to -12 dB, and that's perfect. As long as you're going to peak when you hit 0 dB, but you try to want to avoid that if possible. But what I'm going to do is turn down the audio gain for the game as well, and for that I'm going to do -9 dB. And this normally takes a little bit longer to do, and again, it's going to depend on how long the video is. But you want to have the game volume lower than your voice, but not too low that people can't hear what's going on. So sometimes you want to go through the video and find what's the right setting. For XCOM, I have it nailed. For Far Cry 3, sometimes the audio is a little bit low, but it's only in the cutscenes. It's not in the actual gameplay, and I think that's part of the game's fault, not really what I'm doing, because the shooting and everything is really loud, but the cutscenes are low, and I'm not going to go through and change the volume for every little cutscene, because that would take a long time. But it's doable. Anything's doable in this. So once this is done, all right. So I've got my audio ready to go. So I'm getting close to the end, and what I'm going to try to do is build up a squad of. All right. So this is ready to go. I'm pretty trustworthy. I don't need to go through and make sure it matches. It's going to be pretty accurate. So what I'll do is I'll add some effects at the beginning. I add some transitions under video transitions, dissolve, cross dissolves. I'll put a cross dissolve right here at the beginning. So what that does is kind of do a little fade in. What's up, my fellow gamers? Instead of just appearing there. And what I'll do is select both the tracks, or all the tracks, and move them to the beginning of my intro. And you'll always want to put your effects on the video and audio tracks before you move them up to another track that is separate. And the reason for that is because you can sometimes you'll want to put a you'll notice that I can't put a cross dissolve at the end of this video. It's wanting to merge it with the XCOM game or put it at the front, and I don't want to do that. So you can see if I move the track over and then try to put a dissolve, it'll let me. So you want to try to put your dissolves and stuff before, if that's the type of dissolve you want to do. All right, so I've got that matched up really well, and so then what I'll do is I'll go to the end of the video, and I'm just going to cut the end off a little bit. That's just the time it took me to stop the recording and stop the audio. So then I'll just play the end real quick. Stay tuned. Take care. And so that's pretty good. And then I'll just add some more dissolves at the end so that it does a fade out. Perfect. All right. So then what I'm going to do is take my my already made ending here. And sometimes I change this around. Actually, I need to get rid of that to be continued part, since that was just for one video I had to split. So yeah, so I'll move that up here. And shit, that was not what I wanted to do. I actually need this one. Alright, this is the ending I wanted. This is the one with the memorial wall. Alright, so before I do that, I have to go through the video, and because I do so many, sometimes I'll record a couple at once, you know, one after another, depending on how much time I have. So sometimes I forget, you know, what happens, you know, so I have to go through and find out if somebody died to add them to the memorial wall. So this one, I don't know. So yeah, it looks like this guy BJ died. So what I'll do is then go back here, and since I have two memorial walls now, I will open it up and add BJ. Maybe just BJ like that. And there he is, he's added. Now what this green part means above the video is that it's been rendered. And sometimes you'll have to play around with Adobe Premiere because you have to render some parts. Like all these fades and stuff you'll want to render because sometimes you might see some of my videos where it has some glitchiness at the end where it flickers. And that's because I forgot to render the part, or sometimes it does it even if you do render. But then, yeah, so I leave that part, and what I always do is add a little bit of space at the end. That way there's just some blackness. So I'll go a couple frames, and then I'll move the actual timeline portion so that it's going to actually go, the video is going to go to that point when it exports. Now what I gotta do is drag this back over here because I don't want to render this entire video. It's going to take way too long, but I do want to render just the last part of it, just to about there. So to render, you just press the enter key, and it's going to render all of those little fades and stuff. You'll see it right over here on the right. You'll see a green mark go across here shortly once it's done. And it's just going to render those frames. Perfect. Okay, so then you can see that that's rendered, and then what we need to do is just make sure that you drag the entire timeline back, and if you have the snap on, you want to make sure that you uncheck that and drag your timeline to the beginning. You always want to leave 2 seconds, or in this case, close to a second or two of free space. That way when you click on YouTube, it takes a second before it starts to load. You don't want to just start your video right at the beginning. Give yourself about a second, at least a second and a half to before you start your video. So then that's done. That's all good to go, and that's one video. So then what I'll do is I'll export it. What I usually do is I save the project, and I will save as, and then I'll save it as part number 46, and I will do the same thing. I will delete this video and then add in part 46s and do the same exact thing and just keep doing that. But when I'm ready to actually render, I do a batch render overnight so that I don't have to do it one at a time. So if I was going to do a batch render, what I would do is you can press Control M, or you can go to File, Export Media. And you're going to have to fool around with the presets. I've got mine pretty much ready to go. I've created some presets for mine. But it's basically 720p, 30 FPS, max quality with blending. So I really just don't have to do anything. I just select it's already selected. But the format is H.264. There's all kinds of different ones, but H.264 is really good. And the quality is great when you upload it to YouTube. So for the output name, I'm just going to change it to, let's see, go to the location. I just open up a previous video so I have the file naming correct. And then go to part 45 and change the video name to 45 and save. Alright, and then it's going to export everything. I'm going to export at 1280 by 720 at 30 frames a second. And I use CBR at 9. And that's constant bit rate. You can do variable bit rate, but the quality isn't as good. So you have VBR, variable bit rate, which means that depending on what is showing on the video, it will lower the bit rate. Like if it's text or something, it'll lower the bit rate for text and then increase the bit rate when video appears or something like that. And CBR, constant bit rate, has the same bit rate level, the same quality throughout the entire video and encoding process. So there's no point in your video where there's going to be a loss of quality. And that's what I like. And then I use maximum frame blending and or render quality and frame blending. And then so what I do is this tells you the file size, which is pretty large, so it's going to take probably a while, probably an hour and a half, 2 hours. So then I just click the Q button, and if I wanted to export it, I could have just hit export and it would do that, just that video. But what it does is it puts it into Adobe Media Encoder and it queues it up. So I don't have to have Premiere open. I can exit out of Premiere and still keep the encoder open if I want to. This takes up a lot of memory, so it's good not to have anything open when you are rendering. Yeah, so then what you would do is queue up your videos, so you can keep this open and keep adding more to the queue. And then when you're ready, you have 5 or 10 videos ready to go. Just hit the play button. It's going to auto encode that and export it to your output, output the file to where you wanted it to go. And then in the morning, I will, I'll come into YouTube and let's see, YouTube, and I'll go to upload, and I just select the videos and upload them. And usually that takes a while as well to upload all of those videos. But you can do it, you can queue up multiple videos at a time, so if I have 5 or 10 videos, you're just uploading them while I go to work. I have videos uploading. But I try to do this overnight. That way when I wake up in the morning, I can quickly come over here and start the upload process to YouTube. And then if I need to release a video, I can do that from YouTube itself. But that's really my process. There's a lot more to it, if you're actually making you're actually editing a video. There's a lot more to editing, and I don't think I have anything right now Well, yeah, here's one. I'm not going to show you this video. It's something I'm working on. It's for DayZ, um, but um, I'm going to wait until DayZ goes back to standalone before I get back into it, I think. Once it comes standalone, I have an idea for you that's going to be kind of fun. But you can see how it gets a little confusing here when you start to do some um, crazy stuff with text and everything in audio. You can see my audio tracks, my video tracks, my intro, and more video footage and stuff. So, things can get a little crazy. Um, and you have to feel what you have to, there's different ways to edit. You can drag all the footage onto the timeline, and then you can cut it. You can use these tools over here, like a razor tool, to splice up your video if you want into different segments. Um, or you can just, um, you can open up a piece of video on the left-hand side, and you can put in and out points. So, for instance, if I played this part, I could set a marker right here,
Okay.
and then I could move it up a little bit and set a marker. And then I can drag this video, just this part. You just left click on the window and drag it. And then I can just drag just that section of the video. So that's another way you can do it. Instead of dragging the entire video on the timeline, you could just go through it up here and drag in your separate clips that you want. Everybody has their own way. I have a process, and I like dragging it all in the timeline and going through it and cutting it up. But that's just my method. But anyway, that's all I really have to show for now. Hopefully that helps a little bit on my process. I mean, there's a lot more. If you have anything else that you want to see, just let me know on Facebook. I'll try to make another video of it. Hopefully this is helpful for some of you. And if you have any other questions about software, what codecs or rendering or anything really, feel free to let me know. And I'll try to answer them the best that I can. So, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.